Welcome to the podcast, everyone. I am Myra with Past Lives with Myra Rath, and I am doing a very special segment today with one of my lovely teachers that I've been working with over 3 years now, Wendy Gayle with Metatron's Mystical Muse. I can't tell you how much you have helped me over the years, you and Metatron, but I would love to what we're gonna be doing today is you're gonna be channeling for us today.
Yes, I
Yes.
am.
So welcome, Wendy.
Thank you, Myra.
Oh, today is gonna be so great, and I couldn't believe that Metatron agreed to do the show. Wendy, tell us about Metatron's Mystical Muse.
All right. Metatron's Mystical Muse is actually pretty new. I had created a different uh, platform about 15 years ago and was recently asked to shift and change and grow. And so this summer, Metatron's Mystical Muse was born. And it really is a platform for people to come together and find their tribe, come together and get support. And of course, I'll be, sharing my processes and the things that I'm experiencing through the whole thing as well. Eventually, there's going to be classes and free events, all kinds of juicy things coming up. But it's been a labor of love this summer because I am not technical. I really don't know how to create things like this.
Yeah.
And Spirit has stepped right in, and Metatron has rolled up his sleeves and has made it effortless. So I'm really in a place of gratitude and really excited for the possibilities of the future.
Yes, yes, thank you. Can you explain channeling? What kind of channel you are? Let's
Mhm.
start with that.
Okay. Well, I I span the gamut of all types of channeling, right? But when I'm working, I am a full body unconscious trance channel. And what that means is that my conscious awareness moves to somewhere else and I am not present in the exchange between myself
Mm.
and someone else. And Metatron is really his consciousness and energy is in my physical body. So he's really using my faculties to bring messages and to connect with people. There's
Thank you.
the other the other types of channeling are conscious trance channeling, where you can sit and connect with guidance and you're aware of them speaking to you and through you, but you're still very present. And then there's what we call awake and aware, which is the place where you're constantly channeling because technically we're all channels,
Yes,
right, Myra? Yeah.
yes. I do that all the time in my sessions, and I can
Right.
tell, I catch myself. It's like, that's not me.
Right.
Yeah,
Right. It's
that was
always
wise.
exciting.
That was very wise.
Well, it doesn't matter how long you've been doing it, it it is always exciting when you notice that it's happening.
Yes. Okay. Wonderful. I'm so excited that we're going to be doing this because I have so many questions for Metatron. And I even have some questions from some of the followers. I did a YouTube live last night. And I'm like, what do you guys want to ask? And they came up with some pretty good questions, but I have pages of questions. And the questions might not relate to one another. That's how they were written. So I'm going to try to let it flow as natural as possible. I feel like perhaps when I ask a question, it's going to lead to another question that's not even in my book. So I am really, really excited. Okay. One of the things that I appreciate so much from um, working with you and Metatron was how it's it's awakened my ability to channel. And I don't remember if it was level 1 channeling or level 2, but at some point, Metatron said to me, He brought up light language, and I had heard of it, and um, he was persistent. He was persistent in getting me to do it, and I was so uncomfortable, not in a bad way, but just I didn't know what I was doing. Okay. And I just now looking back, I know Metatron knew that I was going to do it, that I could do it, and that I would be using light language to help to heal in my sessions. And so I can't tell you how much I appreciate the that dormant ability that was within me. And I use it all the time, not just in my sessions. I use it on my dog and my plants. And it is truly magical. It really is.
Yes.
Um, so, can you talk a little bit about what is light language?
Metatron calls light language the language of our soul. It's the language that we use to communicate with source where when we are, when we are in source. And so it is a combination of symbols and sigils and vibration and light.
Yeah.
And so the way it comes through us is not only through sound, but and the vibration, of course, creates the symbols and the sigils in the space.
Wow.
And so it sounds like gibberish much of the time,
Hmm.
and it's hard to get people to let go and experience initially, because it feels like you're just making up some
Yes.
silly language. But
Hmm.
when you become aligned to it, what moves through is healing, and it brings information, even if the brain is not understanding that there's packets of information coming through. So
Hmm.
it's a really beautiful and powerful tool.
It is. I'm I'm about to ask you to bring Metatron in, but before we do that, who is Metatron? He's gained a lot of popularity lately, by the way.
Well, I think what I've noticed is that
Mhm.
there's more and more people on the planet that are connecting with his energy. And the reason for that is that we're in a transitional period in, our evolution of humanity. And he is instrumental in that. So many people and many thoughts, many religions think of Metatron in different ways. To some, he's Enoch, who went to heaven in a flaming chariot. To others, he is and has always been an archangel. The story he tells me is a little bit different, and I'll share it with you today.
Mm.
I always ask people to use their discernment, right?
Hmm.
So Metatron explained to me that when Source decided to have the experience of form, that Metatron was the first thing created,
Wow.
because Metatron holds the sacred geometry of all things.
Mm.
And so Source then created everything through Metatron. He's clear that he wasn't the creator, he was the created, but he is the structure, he is the sacred geometry in everything. So all things that you see with form contain Metatron.
Wow. That's incredible. And the moment you started explaining that, I feel something behind me. I just feel, ooh, just vibey vibes.
Wonder who
Beautiful.
that could be, right?
Yes. Yes. I'm so excited to bring him in. And I've often said I have crushed on Metatron. I love his personality. He's so adorable and so loving. And I'm so excited to work with you and Metatron through these very special segments. So thank you. And thank you, Metatron. So let's go ahead and bring him in.
Okay. And as I begin to bring his energy and his consciousness in, I want to remind people that when they're listening, they might feel his energy in their space.
Mm.
And when he's answering the questions today, Mayra, really reminding people that they're sovereign to use their own discernment in what they take to heart and what they let go. So
Thank you.
I'm going to go ahead and also remind people that he kind of has a funny voice.
Yes, he does.
He has a funny voice, uses my voice differently. So
Mhm.
have a good time.
Thank you.
I'll see you a little bit later.
Thank you.
All right. Good day to you.
Good day, Metatron. How excited are you today?
Yeah, we're always pretty excited, right? But it is wonderful to be with you today.
It is wonderful to be with you. Can you tell me why I felt compelled to wear green today?
Well, sometimes people think that Metatron's vibrational color is green.
Mm, okay.
Indeed.
Interesting.
Indeed.
Interesting. All right. So, welcome, Metatron.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yes. So, we just learned about who you are.
Hmm.
Hmm.
One of the many things that I am.
Yes. I know Wendy just explained what, who you are, but can you add to that, or let's have you answer that?
Well, you know, something that ultimately all will understand, right? That is the God I am. The that presence, and we sit at the right hand of God. We are connected at the hip, so to speak, right? So while you are dealing with Metatron, Melchizedek, the Archangels, the Elohim, you are dealing with consciousness and energies that are directly connected to source in such a way that they remember who and what they are. And that's part of why we come here, right? Is to remind all of you who and what you are, right?
Hmm.
More than what sits in that chair. We have spoken this to you many times, right?
Yes. Yes, you have. You certainly have. So I'm curious about, it's interesting this question is coming up. It's not even in my my book of questions, but the relationship that you have with Wendy. Okay? Let's go back. How did you choose her? Did she choose you? How was that co-creation? How did you guys come together to work in this manner of channeling?
Well, in this life, it was a soul agreement, and
Mm,
that is uh, a thing that most channels will understand, that they have soul agreements, soul contracts with those that they're working with, right? Sacred contracts. But the relationship with Maelestra, which is our channel, right? Her sacred name has
Okay.
been ongoing for forever almost, right? And the one thing that uh, as you are evolving, you begin to learn that you are an aspect of that which you channel as much as that which you channel is an aspect of you. And so our channel and Metatron are two sides to the same coin, right? And
Hmm.
has been we've known each other what you call time and time and time again.
Yes. You mentioned her soul name. We all have, I am Myra, but that's just in this physical body. But I do have um, another name, right?
Yes, yes, you do.
Interesting.
Everyone does.
Yeah.
Everyone does. And everyone can access that sacred name, that soul name, by doing a bit of a process. And we encourage you to do so if that's something that speaks to your heart.
Yes, I think I had asked you and you said, go get it, go get that name. As my
Well,
teacher would
yeah.
say, Myra, go and get that name. And then I kind of forgot about doing it. So it's a gentle reminder for me to connect with my higher self. And
Yes, indeed.
yes.
Always. Always.
So a question from one of the YouTube followers that I have is, what is your job? What does Metatron do?
Hmm. Other than being everywhere all at the same time, because there's nowhere else for any of us to be, right? There's no time and space, but we do hold some positions, so to speak,
Mhm.
right? We are connected to sacred geometry, as you know. We are also deeply involved in helping what is the collective consciousness evolve. And so when you think of collective consciousness, you think of it as just one big thing, right? But within the collective consciousness, there's multiple thousands upon thousands of collective consciousness. There's a collective consciousness for everything, right? There's
Okay.
a collective consciousness for everything. And it is Metatron's job to help you to look at your perceptions and shift your perceptions, to begin to live the truth of who you are and what you are, right? Our job is to help you to find your wings, so to speak.
Mm, mhm,
Right? Our job is to help you to awaken so that you, in turn, might help others awaken as well.
mhm.
So, those are some of the things that we do.
Yes. When you say we, who is we?
Well, when we say we think of, Maelestra and Metatron. We think of Maelestra, Metatron, Melchizedek, Elijah. We become a collective as well,
Okay.
right? When you move to the level of Metatron, of Melchizedek, of those, there's no separation.
Mhm.
It all becomes one consciousness with a delineation of a name here and there, right?
Yes.
It's hard for the human perspective to get that because there's no point of reference yet. But
Right.
you will understand.
Okay.
We promise you will understand. Be patient, right?
Yes, yes.
It's coming.
Okay. Wonderful. So Let me ask, what is an archangel? I call upon um, archangels almost daily in sessions. Um, Tell me, and here's kind of the process that I actually do when I call upon an archangel. For some reason, I repeat the name 3 times. I just feel they'll hear me better if I repeat it 3 times. Archangel Michael, Archangel Michael, Michael, Michael. I am calling for your help, for your assistance. That's probably not necessary, but that is my process. Okay. So, what is an archangel? Let's
Right.
start with that.
All right. That's a really good question. Because angels are a race of beings, as humans are a race of beings. But the angels are, of course, celestial beings,
Mhm.
right? And within the hierarchy of those celestial beings, you know, each hierarchy has a different job.
Mhm.
And so the archangels' jobs, uh, while they appear to be special, right?
Mhm.
Every
Yes.
every job within the angelic realm is important. We as archangels give our time and attention everywhere. We support all life. We step in to assist when what is density threatens to overcome light. We are the champions of humanity. We are here for you, supporting your evolutionary process, your ascension, right? We are creators. The cosmos, the universe is there's so much there that you have no point of reference for, but we assist the creator in
Mm.
whatever job we're given, much like you follow the whisperings of your guidance and do what spirit asks you to do, beloved one. We too follow the voice of God and do what we're asked to do. We are, like you, still evolving.
Mhm. It never stops.
It never stops. No, it does not. So,
Mm.
will you perhaps be an archangel one day? Who's to say? You may have some angel DNA. You'll never know what is possible, right, in your
Yes.
evolutionary process.
So, have archangels, have they had experiences on Earth as humans?
Yeah. Well, hybrids. There,
Hybrids.
there are, your lineages, your ancestral lines.
Mhm.
Your ancestral lines, they all originated from what are called the 12 tribes.
Hmm.
And so the lines, the lineages began as a pure lineage. And through the decades and the millennia, those lineages have been intersected at different points by different cosmic energies. So the angels have come and intersected with a lineage, and woman has had children, and so that DNA, that energy carries forward in the line. Galactic beings come and intersect with the lineages, and that is also woven into the line moving forward. So
Mhm.
yeah,
Wow.
it it's a lot to take in.
It really is. And I'm such a visual person. It was like, I need a PowerPoint. I need a PowerPoint demonstration, but that's incredible. Hmm.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are there both male and female archangels?
We
Do they
hold
have a gender?
no,
No
no,
gender.
we are, we've been given names by humanity that are gender references, but really we have uh, embodied fully the masculine and the feminine Christ principles within. So we are that absolute neutrality, that balance between both. Right?
Mhm.
What
How many?
humanity what humanity needs, if they need Michael to have a sword and to be the one who, you know, protects, then that is what is so. If they need
Okay,
Metatron, right, to come and create something new geometrically, then that is what is so. Right?
interesting. Okay. How many archangels are there?
How many humans are there?
Wow.
There are more than you can count. You think of the
Wow.
5 or the 10 that you know of, but we are a race of beings and we exist throughout the cosmos.
Yes.
We have not taken a head count recently.
Okay. Yes. That's incredible. How do you call upon the archangels? And does it really matter if you call their name?
Well, there are some individuals that have a deeper resonance with some angels or archangels than others. They have a heart connection, and so calling their name or saying, hey, I could use some assistance right now. They're more likely to feel the presence of that guidance. But anyone can call upon us at any time. And our promise to you is that whether you can feel us in your space or not, whether you know that we're there or not, if you call, we come
Yeah.
every single time.
Every single time. Mhm. I
You
call
can
upon you a lot.
you can call us once or you can call
Mhm.
us multiple times.
Mhm.
Whatever you, the human, feel works for you.
Mhm. That's incredible. I didn't know that there were so many. But I have a question about wings. Why? Why do they have wings? When did that start?
Well, for those in the past, uh, and again, truly, it is the wings are limited to the perspective of the human, right? And when the angels would come to the planet and people would see their energy fields, their point of reference. They had no point of reference for what an angel was. And so they saw the energy field as wings, right?
Okay.
Because they could they could understand wings from birds and that type of thing. So
Hmm.
uh they gave us wings, right?
Yeah.
We don't really have wings. There's no need for wings, but we often teach you how to connect with your wings because it's
Hmm.
energetics, right?
Yes. Yes. Okay. You mentioned the celestial realm. Well, how many realms are there?
Hmm. Hmm. There's uh, there's unlimited. There's no. It's infinite. There's
Infinite.
right as source, as everything continues to evolve and to expand, more realms are created all the time, right? Now,
Wow.
when we say realms, many people think dimensions, and many people are like, well, there's 12 dimensions, but the truth of the matter is that that is also unlimited.
Unlimited.
The human mind often thinks in absolutes, and these questions are outside of the absolutes. The answers are outside of the absolutes, right? There are unlimited dimensions. There are unlimited places, if you want to call them that. Okay?
Wow. Thank you.
Planets, solar systems, you name it.
So, one of the things that I want to do is also answer a lot of questions regarding the work that I do, right? There's even I have questions. I am just amazed at some of the information that comes through. Um, one of the things that I want to talk about is when we sleep. We know that, and I know you've told me your soul leaves, you go, okay? You travel when you're sleeping. So where do I go? And I know that you have said to me you work with your guides, but I'm really going to dig deeper here. And I guess I'm looking for more specifics. Where do
So,
I go at night?
like, you wanted to say that you go to Venus or you go to the moon? Is this what you're looking for, beloved?
What work am I doing in the astral plane while I sleep?
All right. There's, again, the answer is you're doing what it is that spirit is asking you to do, just like you do in your awakened life. But you are more effective in your spirit form because that aspect of you, that soul aspect, is not limited to the human thinking. And so to be asked to go and assist some of the souls that are coming to the planet at this time to be birthed and to watch over them and to protect them as they're coming in, to go and be a protector of a populace that needs assistance, to go and create changes on a planet or a star that needs to be let us call it terraformed, right? There's all of these places, all of these things. There's no limitation, and in that sleep time, you are in your I am, your God I am presence always. In your sleep time, it is remembered. It's not always remembered in your awake time.
Yeah. I wish I remembered.
Yeah. So if there has been a trauma and spirit says, all right, male Lestra, Mayra, go and bring healing. Go and support the whales and the dolphins. Go and create sanctuary upon Venus. Go. There's no limitation. And it's kind of like that is really what you live for in the greater scheme of things.
That's incredible. Okay. Is there such a thing as a newer soul? Are there constantly new souls being created, or can you explain that?
That's a
How are
real
souls created?
well, souls are created through source. And so there are still new souls being created through Source. Most of the new souls are coming to the planet in the form of the indigo and the crystalline, the very gifted that are coming in and have been coming in over the past years, right? And these souls have been created to help humanity evolve, to kind of
Mhm.
wake wake up what has been sleeping.
Mhm.
And so those are, while you might call them newer souls because they are more newly created, there's really no distinction or differentiation between a soul that's, you know, it's not it's not the same as new and old here, right?
Okay.
It's just this was created now and then, and it all works together, right?
Mm.
There's
Yeah.
no time, no, I don't know a better way to explain that to you,
Mhm.
right?
Okay. I've heard about how souls can split, how a soul can actually split. Is that accurate? And why does that happen?
Well, split is not quite, because that would almost feel that it's not part of itself, right? That you've
Right?
torn something apart. It is possible to have one soul living many experiences all at the same time.
Mhm.
Because, like Metatron, like Source, the soul is not limited in time and space. So your soul, Mayra, can be having the experience of you here now, and also be having a different experience across the cosmos in this same breath, right? And that is the, the people thinking that the soul splits, right?
Mhm. Yes. Now that's separate from the higher self, correct? Are we talking about two separate things? Because I have all kinds of questions about the higher self as well.
All right. So how do we explain to you that there is no separation between anything?
Okay.
You delineate the soul, the higher self, the God I am. You
Mm.
make them different packages so that you can relate to them, that you can understand them better. The truth of the matter is, it's all one thing,
Mhm. Mhm.
right? All one movement, all one creation.
Mhm.
And in your human existence and experience, you're looking at them as separate and working with different aspects of yourself in a way to resolve the separation, the
Mhm.
duality, right? In this form here, it's all about that learning experience. So, is your soul separate from your higher self? No. Is your higher self and your soul separate from your God I am? No.
No. Mhm. Hmm. Can you explain how the higher self chooses the experience it wants to have? What does that process look like?
All right. So, your soul
Yes.
between lifetimes goes to the Akashic records, to your Akashic records. And it sits down and it looks at the experiences that it's had and sits down in what is called the place of planning and says, okay, what what I am, still need to continue to evolve. And then the contracts, the decisions are created at that level within the Akashic records. And so when the soul is then born, the soul, the higher self, begins to live out those contracts. That's where the experiences come from. There's not just one way, there's not just one path. The soul creates multiple possibilities. Right? So there's never any lack of possibility upon this lifetime.
So that is also all the realities that Mayra is experiencing. It's not just this one right now. I'm sitting here having this conversation with Metatron. There is another Mayra doing something else.
Right. And sometimes when we are teaching those to channel, beloved one, we will ask them to imagine that they are, that their guidance is on the other side of the universe, channeling them. Because you are no different than Metatron or Archangel Michael. You are divine consciousness. And so why would we not be speaking your wisdom across the cosmos, right? Does that make some sense to you?
Yes, yes, thank you. I'm going to go back to the place of planning since you mentioned it. Who's there at the place of planning with my higher self?
All right. Well, it all depends who you call into your place of planning. And usually your team, because every soul has a team. When you come to this lifetime, you have a team that are there to support you and to bring the next step and guide you, right? And so usually the team travels together, lifetime after lifetime. So your team shows up, and anyone else that the soul feels that they would like to connect with to help them to have different experiences in the next incarnation, right? So if you're having an earth experience, you might call Gaia to be present. You might call, any other of the energies that are connected to earth to be present as you're creating your soul contracts. If your next incarnation was going to be on Ursa Major, then you would be calling in those galactic beings to come and work with you to create that next story that the soul will live. All right? So there's a
Interesting.
lot of it depends in this, we understand. But again, try to think outside of the human box.
I'm trying.
Yes, indeed. It is difficult. We understand that even our channel has a difficult time thinking outside of the human box a great deal
Yes,
of the time.
yes. Yes, I know. There's a lot of programming, a lot.
Yes, yes, indeed.
I
Part
want
of
to go,
watching.
yeah, I want to go back to the alternate Myras. And I feel like if I were to ask you this question, you're going to say, because the higher self wants to experience it all, right? But really, how many versions of Myra are there? Are you going to say infinite?
No, we're going to say 12 at this point in time. There
Oh,
are
I have
there are
12.
12 there are 12 Myras having experiences at this time. There's three that are on the planet with you in different places at this time. And then the other 9 are seated throughout the cosmos, having the galactic experiences, the experiences of being a different type of being. Okay. And the soul just takes in all of that information.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can other people have more? Yes. Can other people have less? Yes. But for you right now, it's 12.
I have 12. Okay.
Yeah. And you run into these aspects and you communicate with these aspects of you in your dreams. So some guy might show up in your dream. That's an aspect of you having an experience someplace else. It's not that there's 12 Myra females that look like you
Mm-hmm.
across the cosmos. There's different forms, different density, different uh what will we call it? Evolutionary abilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
Many different experiences all at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Hmm. So, speaking on that, when I transition, when Myra, me, my physical body, when I transition, I do not cease to exist. Myra, like, I feel all right, I'm going to transition, but I still want to watch over my family, my kids, watch my grandkids grow up. So I know I don't cease to exist. But at what point do I evolve from that?
Hmm.
Do I?
Immediately,
Hmm.
immediately. But that does not mean when you drop the physical body
Hmm.
and you are in spirit, you can be within source, that's home, right? And you can still come and check in on your loved ones. You are no longer limited to being in one place or another,
Okay.
right?
Yeah.
So you are celebrated home,
Hmm.
and you're also able to, if you so choose, to check in on your beloveds. Yeah?
Hmm.
You're still
Wow.
evolving. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
It doesn't
You
stop.
will constantly evolve. It's impossible not to evolve.
Hmm.
Nothing is static, beloved one.
Yes. Okay. I know that when you and I spoke before today, I think it was a few weeks ago, one of the things that we talked about was um, time. You
Mm.
know, it's very difficult for humans to not measure time. We have calendars, we have clocks, we have time, yet we hear time is an illusion and all lifetimes are happening concurrently, simultaneously. Can you explain the elementary version so that the listeners will understand about time?
All right. So on the earth plane, time equals structure,
Mhm. Yeah.
right? You have implemented a structure and labeled it time.
Mhm.
And this has been going on this planet since its inception, and every single species of beings that have lived here have marked time,
Mhm.
right? But really what time is a structure, and within that structure there are seasons, right? The
Mhm.
season
Right.
of of spring, summer, fall, winter. There's the seasons of maiden, mother, crone. There are all of these different seasons that are held in what is the structure of time. And it is how you have created your reality, right? You've created your reality with that structure. So you're constantly going, time to have dinner, time to go to work. Oops, I'm late, right? What would it be if you lived outside of the construct or the structure that you call time?
Mhm. I can't imagine it.
No, you can't,
Mhm,
because in human form it would be impossible.
mhm,
So the structure of time was created specifically for the humans upon this planet.
mhm.
Is that
So,
is that
yeah.
helpful to you, beloved?
Yes, yes, it
Okay,
is.
all right.
So when we are having these other experiences in different timelines, how and why are they influencing us today?
Mm. So, have you ever been doing dishes and all of a sudden you see like a little movie playing in your head? You're off climbing a
Yeah,
mountain,
yeah. Yes, yes.
or you're off doing something, right? Well, that is one of the other aspects of you, and you're tapping into what is happening. Everybody thinks that your imagination is something different than what it truly is, but within
Mhm,
your imagination, you continue to be in contact and connection with all aspects of Mayra,
mhm,
right? And so you will have those, oh my gosh, what made me, wow, that's interesting. Why did I think of that? Where did that come from?
mhm,
Well, another aspect of you is having an experience, right? And so there's there's you know, tells, you'll receive those tells when there is that connection between those other aspects of you having experience. Does
mhm.
this answer your question?
It does. It does. But what I want to know also is, when I was growing up, there was really no such thing as anxiety, okay? Or what we call anxiety,
Mhm.
where people are having a physical response and they don't even know where it's coming from.
Yes.
Is some of that coming from these other realities that, yeah, can you explain how it's affecting us physically in our bodies today?
Right. Well, there are people that begin to struggle with what you call bipolar, right? And then there are those that begin to experience psychoses, schizophrenia, those types of things. The
Yes.
the odd thing is that they are really connected to those other aspects of themselves, right?
Wow.
But here it is considered a defect or
Mhm.
or an illness,
Mhm.
right? And so the the anxiety, beloved one, and a lot of the diseases that are being experienced upon this planet, even things like autism and things that were 50 years ago hardly ever
Yes.
heard about, right?
Right.
They were, and let's back it up a little bit. So someone is born, they have Asperger's,
Hmm.
right? And so the scientific community goes, oh, we need to study this. And in that moment, Asperger's begins to take on a different frequency and begins to grow until it becomes part of the collective consciousness.
Wow.
What you focus on becomes real.
It magnifies. Yes.
It magnifies, it
Hmm.
becomes real. Your thoughts are creating
Hmm.
always. So all of those things that started out as something that was perhaps what someone calls a one-off, right?
Okay.
They became a curiosity, and then that curiosity became a collective perception or a collective consciousness.
That makes so much sense because so many people are talking about my anxiety, and it's almost it's creative. I've told many people, stop owning it. Stop calling it
Absolutely.
mine.
Right.
And when, I understand that you have symptoms, and I'm not dismissing the symptoms, but when you call it my depression,
Yeah,
my,
you're
it
saying yes.
you're
You're
saying
saying
yes.
yes. Yeah. So let us also say that the human was created much different than the human is using itself, if that makes sense to you. The
Hmm.
human experience was you're like a radio tower. You you get the reception. Say you receive a thought or a feeling, and instead of observing it, feeling it, and releasing it, which is what you were created to do, you observe it, you feel it, you hang on to it, and
You
you make
hold
up
it.
a story. You make up a story. And
Mhm.
so anxiety becomes your story,
Yeah.
right?
Mhm.
Overweight
Mm.
becomes your story.
Mm.
Depression becomes your story, right? And we're not marginalizing these things, but
Right.
we want you to see how the flow of energy and the flow of information is meant to just be received and move through, but the human, you know, holds on to it and makes up all of these stories. And of course, all of these stories are the perceptions that Metatron then comes in and says, please look at this perception.
Mhm.
Is this the truth? Is this serving you? If it's not, then it goes in the cosmic trash can,
Yes.
right? And allowing you to replace it with something else so that the collective conscious can begin to change.
Okay. So, what is your advice on replacing it with what?
All right. So let's say that you have a perception that uh, I don't know what kind of a perception that you must have blue eyes. That everybody should have blue eyes. Blue eyes are the only kind of eyes to have, right?
Okay.
and
Okay.
it and it becomes part of the collective consciousness. And when you go in and you look at that story about blue eyes, right? You take a look at it and you tell yourself the truth. Is this the truth that blue eyes, you know, and you find why you're telling yourself that story. You find the truth of it, and you're finally able to let it go. What you can replace it with is a much more open and inclusive perception that might look like all colors of eyes are from the divine, or all colors of eyes are perfect, whatever it is, right? You are replacing the old perception, the limiting thought process, with something that is much more inclusive. And that's how you begin to shift what is the consciousness, right?
Wow, this is, this explanation, about anxiety, depression, all of it, autism is, I think, really going to resonate with people. So,
Yeah.
very
And,
interesting.
and again, when you're in it, it's hard to see anything
Anything
else.
else? That's right.
It is difficult to see
Mm,
anything else.
hmm.
But sometimes when one can unplug themselves from the collective consciousness of what
Yeah.
depression is, right? If you can begin to replace your thought processes and find out the truth of what it is for you, and not buy into the big picture of what the collective has, then things can begin to shift and change, right? It feels real.
Yes. Hmm.
Story feels real, right?
We are powerful creators, are
You
we
are
not?
powerful creators, right? You are powerful creators. And having the understanding that your thoughts, what you think about, where you place your awareness, creates your reality, then you can begin to create differently for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Love that.
Call upon us. We will help you to
Mm.
do this. This is part of why we're here, right?
Yes.
Help you to shift your perceptions, to heal body, mind, and spirit, to understand that you're not broken, that you are divine perfection right here, right now,
Mm-hmm. Thank
more
you.
than who and what you think you are.
Thank you. I think we will hit the pause button
All right.
until we return. I would love to complete our Q&A today with a piece of advice that you have today for the collective.
There is a perception that many humans hold, that they've got to fix the world, that the world is broken, that they've got to do all this to fix it, and they don't know where to start. We will say to you that, number one, everything is in divine order. There's nothing outside of the purview of source. And any changes that you are looking to see in the world, you've heard it 1,000 times. The changes begin within you. Begin to find a way to love yourself, to know your worth, to find your passions. These things change you from the inside out, and begins to change everything.
Thank you.
Easy, easier said than done, but we ask you to please give it your best shot. Huh?
Okay. Thank you, Metatron, for your time. It's been an honor.
Indeed, we will go ahead and relinquish the body and allow our channel to step forward. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
It has been a
Mm,
blessing to connect with you today.
thank you.
Namaste.
Namaste. Welcome back.
Thank you. Ooh, I have a little bit of channeling head.
Do you? What does that feel like?
Just feels floaty, a little
Mhm.
wonky.
Sure. Yeah. It's like coming out of a trance. Yes.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes. Yeah.
Well, that was really interesting. And I'm excited for you to hear the recording afterwards. We got lots of things answered.
Okay.
Yeah. I won't spoil it for you. I'll let you